final question I would like to ask you is, what was your favorite summer trip growing up?
Favorite summer trip growing up? Gosh, I'd say probably, I can recall going to California one year, and that one was a lot of fun. It was my first solo trip that I did, and I went to go see a friend in LA, and I helped her move.
I think probably when I was in high school, I went to Nice in the south of France. It was a very, very eye-opening experience being that I was 15, and France is very different than Europe is very different than America. It was very, very amazing. It was beautiful.
My favorite summer trip I ever went on was with my family. We went to Destin, Florida. I was really little, and we spent time, we brought our dogs along the trip for us too, so we made a whole road trip out of it. We went from Texas to Florida, so it was a big adventure kind of going across states, and the dogs in the car too. It was a really fun time. But once we got there, it was just so amazing to be with the rest of our family, see the dogs, chasing the little crabs on the beach at night with our lights, just being near the crystal waters. It was really, really awesome. It's just a core memory in my mind.
After I graduated from college, my mother sent me to Europe to backpack for 3 months. And I visited like 20 different cities and 6 different countries, and it was a super magical time.
My favorite summer trip I ever went on is very simple. We go to the lake every year, and we are a water sports family, if you can't tell. We love to water ski, paddleboard, be on the boat, jump off the dock, jump off rocks. Give me some water and I am happy.
In 2017, I took a trip to Iceland, and I took it alone. And I would say that was probably my most favorite trip, just because it was the first one that I did alone. And I was just more like, kind of like going back to the third question where we're talking about, being open to new things. I honestly would love to do it again. I tell my fiance we should definitely take the kid and go, but of course, it's not as easy as it sounds. But yeah, definitely a favorite trip that I have.
My favorite summer trip was when I was 7 years old, and I went to Disney World, and I just really liked all the attractions and Mickey Mouse, just how fun and magical it is.
So my favorite summer trip ever, I would have to say is I've gotten to do a couple of like the all-inclusive international trips to Jamaica and Cancun in the last few years. And those are probably my favorite because you just don't have to like think about anything or plan anything, to really like shut your mind off and just get away. That's probably been my favorite. But a close one up with that, in college I got to do a backpacking trip in Colorado with my cousin, and we just like camped and fished and hung out for a few days in the mountains, and that was a pretty phenomenal trip also. All of them had incredible views and just able to kind of escape life and cut things off. Those were some good times.
When I was 13, I got to fly for my first time. My grandfather and I went to Chicago to visit my cousins, and I had probably never been far out of the state, from where I lived, and I'd never been someplace that was a city like Chicago, and I just saw a completely different side of life, and it was like being in a movie. We could walk to the pool, and we could walk to the corner store, and we had picnics in the backyard, which is really different than when you grow up in the country. So I think that really stands out.
Thank you all so much for joining us this week for the AIM Summer Snapshot, and thank you to all the individual AIMers who participated. I sincerely hope that everyone watching had an incredible summer, and I hope that you guys have an even better rest of the year.